GCSE French is not difficult. You're just lacking the knowledge to succeed. If you know how to put the right endings with the right tenses, you're already halfway there, because a lot of GCSE French is about tenses. Today we're going to be studying the imperfect tense, what it is, when to use it, and how to form it. C'est parti. So what exactly is the imperfect tense? Well, that's pretty simple. It's a form of the past tense, and the past tense is an umbrella term for multiple different tenses. Just in the past, it's that simple, honestly. So you've got the perfect tense, which I did in another video and I'll link it in the description. You've got the pluperfect tense, and you've got the imperfect tense. Now, the imperfect tense is one of the most important tenses in French GCSE. You need to know how to form it, how to recognise it, and how to write it in your exam. But what do we actually use it for? We can use it to describe people or things in the past. For example, she was amazing. It was fantastic. Or we can use it to describe events that were repeated or ongoing in the past. So let's write some examples down in English first to give you an idea. So we could say, I was walking. And we can use the imperfect tense for this. Or you could just say, I walked. You can also use the imperfect tense for this as well. But often we use the imperfect tense with time phrases. So if you said, 3 years ago, I walked down the street. That's what you could say it with. Or you could say, I used to walk. So when I was little, I used to walk every day. We'd use the imperfect tense here, okay? Right, so these are some examples of the imperfect tense that we would use regularly in GCSE French, okay? So these structures here, I'm going to show you how to form them. So, quand j'étais petite, this is a very common structure we would use, especially in your writing. And je faisais, that's just an example of the imperfect tense. It means I did a lot of sport. When I was little, I did a lot of sport. This just means when I was 9, there was a big storm. So these here, we use these structures regularly. So il y avait is just the imperfect form of il y a. So in the present, you say il y a un grand orage. There is a big storm. In the past, you say il y avait un grand orage. There was a big storm, okay? Same here, in the present, we'd say, if you're saying we are 9, we'd say nous avons 9 ans. In the imperfect, nous avions 9 ans. Okay, that's all it is. We're just changing the tense. And then here, this is the use of être. So this is using the verb être in the imperfect tense. And être is the only verb in the imperfect tense which is irregular. So we're going to go over that later, okay? So how exactly do we form the imperfect tense? It's actually quite simple. I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay, so we take a verb, so we take a full form of a verb, so we say jouer, manger, finir, just to give you some examples. We're taking an infinitive verb, whole verb. What we do, we take the present tense of that verb in the new form. So, nous avons, nous sommes, the new form of the present tense, okay? So for manger, that'll be mangeons. For finir, that would be finissons. Okay, we're just putting them into the present tense, new form. That's all we're doing here, okay? And then we just take off the ending, okay? So like here, we've removed on from Jean, so we just got the root. We've got this root here, this stem verb, which is just ju. So here we take off ion, so we just got mange. We take off on, so we just got finis, okay? So now we're left with these stems of the verb. Okay, this is what we're left with these examples. And now we need to add on the endings, the imperfect tense endings. You need to memorize these. So in the imperfect tense, for each pronoun, so this pronoun on the side here, there is a specific ending. Just like for every tense. In the present tense, there's specific endings to the 3 types of verbs. In the perfect tense, there's specific endings, okay? So for each pronoun, these are the endings we add on to the verbs. So let's take our example of jouer, which means to play. So, if we're putting it in the I form, so the je form, okay? So we've got our stem. So from here, remember, we've got the stem, which is joue. We've got this here. So we're going to use our stem, so je joue. And then, okay, what is the ending for, okay, so it's A-I-S, it's E. So just add this, so je jouais, okay? And then for the to form, we've got our stem, joue, and we add it's the same, we add a. Okay, that's quite nice and easy. And then for il, elle, on, let's just use on as an example. Do the stem, and we add e, okay? So we just add these up, that's what we're doing. These are the endings, so you need to remember these. So ion, ie, and e, okay? So nous jouions, we're just adding these endings onto our stem, okay? And then ils, elles, jouent. Okay, so that would just be the verb jouer in the imperfect tense. That's all it is. We've conjugated that in the imperfect tense, and that means I used to play, or I played, or I was playing. Okay, let's move on. I want to check that you understand this concept. So let's go through some examples. So first of all, here we've got je mangeais du pizza. So, okay, I can see an imperfect tense ending. We've got AIS. So this is in the imperfect tense. So this means I was eating pizza, or I ate pizza, or I used to eat pizza in the past, okay? All we've done, we've taken that verb, manger, we've put it in the present tense, in the new form, mangeons. We've taken off that ending, and we've added, so now we've just got mange, right? And we've added the je imperfect tense ending. We've added, that's what we've done, we've added the AIS, because that's the ending that goes with the je pronoun. Add AIS, and we've got je mangeais, okay? The second one, so what we've got is this is the avoir verb, okay? Which is just to have, very commonly used verb in French. I've done another video on how to conjugate that if you want to go and take a look. So, il y avait beaucoup d'oiseaux. So, oiseau just means birds, so a lot of birds. There was a lot of birds, basically. So, il y avait is, again, it's the past tense, so the imperfect tense of il y a. So if you ever want to say, instead of saying there is, you want to say there was in French, il y avait, okay? Il y avait, just past tense of il y a. That's all it is, nice and simple. So what we've done is we've taken the new form of the present tense. So, as an example, so in the present tense, the new form is nous avons. And obviously we don't need the new, we take off the new, take off the ending, ONS. So now we've just got AV, we've just got av, and then we add the ending, okay? And because this is il, what's the ending for il in the imperfect tense? It's AIT. So av plus AIT, and we've just got ave. There you go. C'est simple. C'est très simple. Very simple, okay? Here again, this is a very common structure in GCSE French, okay? So, when I was 10, I was very little, okay? So here, what we're doing is, this bit is avoir. We're using avoir again. What we're doing is we've done the same thing as up here. We've taken the new form of avoir, so nous avons. Don't need the pronoun, don't need ONS. We've just got av plus the je ending, which is AIS. And obviously, because we don't need the E in je, because there's a vowel at the start of ave. So we just cross it out, so just J apostrophe VAIS, yeah? So it's just j'avais. If you're unclear on why you have to say quand j'avais 10 ans, when you're talking about age, how old you are, in French you say I have 9 years. You don't say I'm 9 years old, you say I have 9 years. So in the present it would be j'ai 9 ans. You always say I have the amount of years, okay? There is one exception in the imperfect tense, which we conjugate slightly differently, okay? And that is être, which means to be. So être just means, there we go, to be. That's all that means. Right, and here, when we take the root of the verb, the stem that we add our endings to, we do not take it from the new form of the present tense. We don't do that, okay? We put this root in. This is our root. This is the stem. This is the root of the verb that we add our endings to. E, accent, T, okay? And that's an accent aigu, because it's going up. Accent aigu. I'll write that down, actually. Accent aigu. Aigu just means sharp in French. But that's what the accent's called. Right. So, what we do, we have the same pronouns as always. Je, tu, il, elle, on, nous, vous, il/elle. Okay? We add this stem, so E, accent T, for every single one, okay? Just like the stem for other verbs, same for every pronoun. And then we add our endings. We add the same endings as before. So, AIS, AIS, AIT, so été, they're pronounced exactly the same. And then here we've got étions, étiez, and then été. Like that, so same endings, okay, just different stem, that's all. There's something else I'd like to add here as well. So in the present tense, when we're saying it is, we say c'est, right? So we say c'est in the present tense. C'est super, it's super. In the past, what we do is we say c'était super. So we use the imperfect tense to describe how something is in the past. And what we're doing here, we're using this form of été, so AIT ending, okay? C'était, that's all it is. C'était means it was in the past, right? That's because in the present, c'est uses the il, elle, on ending, right? Because in the present, you say je suis, tu es, il est, on est, elle est. We're using est, okay? So in the past, it's exactly the same. We use été, which is from the il, elle, on pronoun, right? So c'était super, okay? Let's move on. Right, here is where you need to test yourself to see how much you actually understood of what I've just explained to you, okay? And we'll go over the answers together. So pause the video here and have a go at these questions. The last one is a bit more difficult, but give it a go. Okay, so number 1, il y avait beaucoup de problèmes. So remember I said, in the past, if you want to say there is, to say there was, use il y a, and it turns into il y avait, okay? So il y avait, because we're using that AIT ending onto avoir, okay? Il y avait beaucoup de problèmes, that's all that is. When I was little, I ate pizza. So, quand j'étais petite, je mangeais du pizza. So obviously I'm female, so I'd say petite with an E, but if you're male, you don't need that E. You say quand j'étais petite, just depends on the gender of the pronoun, so who you are. So j'étais, because we're using the je form of être, and obviously être is irregular, as we saw, spoiling a bit there for you. And because être is irregular, we have this stem, which is E, accent T, and then we add the normal endings, AIS, okay? Quand j'étais petite, je mangeais du pizza. Again, we saw this earlier, so manger, that's the imperfect tense again, we just add that AIS onto the new form of the present tense. Let's move on. When we were 10 years old, so quand on avait 10 ans. So remember I explained it, when you're talking about age, you use avoir. So you say, I have 10 years. In the past, you just use the imperfect form of avoir. So, again, so that's the present form, the new form of the present tense. You get rid of that ending, you don't need that. Say AV, and then you add on that on ending, which is AIT. And then you have avait, okay? That's all that is, nice and simple. Right. You used to play football. Vous jouiez au foot. So this one's a bit simple, okay? So you just have the stem, the jou, and then you add on the vous ending, which is IEZ. Okay, nice and simple. Here, number 5, c'était super. Remember I went over this. This is the irregular verb être. And what we're doing, we're using that il, elle, on ending. Okay? And we're adding it to c'est. So, c'était super. It was super. So, c'est, it is. C'était, it was. Okay? It was sunny every day. So, in French, when you're saying it's sunny, you say il y a du soleil in the present tense. So, it is sunny. So, maintenant, now, it is sunny. In the past tense, so the past tense of il y a, we know is il y avait. So, il y avait du soleil, and then tous les jours is every day. Okay, nice and simple. So, il y avait is just il y a in the past tense. And the imperfect tense, that's what we use. We don't use any other tense for the past to say there was. We use imperfect, so il y avait. Okay, perfect. C'est tout, mes amis. If you need any help at all with the imperfect tense in French, I will leave my email in the description below. Please do drop me an email and we can set up a call and go over the imperfect tense together. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Au revoir.